Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are here welcoming two chair members of the Security Council and ECOFIN, and we're very happy and pleased to have you here, gentlemen.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Okay, and today we get a chance to talk, hopefully, about your work and your experiences in the last few days, which hopefully have been very exciting for you. We'll just hear, maybe you could just tell us what has been the most interesting or exciting event in the last days in your work as a chairperson.
Well, we just actually passed a resolution not too long ago, and yeah, we've actually been, despite what the newspaper said about us being very lazy and party animals, we've gotten a lot of work done, and right now they're just taking some time off to research the second topic. So yeah, we should be addressing that in the coming days, and yeah, it's been pretty good.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Yes. We've had the crisis going on and evolving, and it's been interesting seeing how the delegates adapt to the developments that come about during the crisis.
Well, talking about delegates, how have you been experiencing them? Have they been active or more passive? Do you have to encourage them to take part, or are they really into their work?
Oh, they've been exceptional so far. I mean, a lot of them are new at this. It's been their first conference, but so far they've been really good, and a lot of speeches, a lot of debate going on. And I mean, there's been a few instances where the procedure, the rules haven't been followed exactly, but...
Well, would you like to elaborate on that?
Well, just,
Just a few, interesting details for our viewers.
Yeah, just, point of informations, and, it's been done in, very occasionally, though. It's not all the time, but, just these small little things. But other than that, they've been really good, and, yeah.
Okay, so you do feel like a chairperson, you have to not be involved that much and let them handle their business and do their work, and then you just think that's going fine so far.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
Has that been your experience too? Or?
We've had a fairly active group, yes. A couple shy people, but they've been participating more as the conference has gone on.
Well, yeah, it's a great experience and obviously a great chance to get to talk and to discuss difficult issues. Do you feel that it's going to be that there's going to be a solution, or do you feel that you constantly agreeing more, or do you feel that they're growing apart and that there's really conflict evolving during our conference?
Well, we've had conflict evolving, and so most likely there will not be a solution, as is typical with the Security Council. Most likely there'll be a presidential statement issued, as opposed to actually passing a resolution that would take action on any part of the
yeah, because
crisis.
I'm asking because you could argue that in the end, if the parties are drifting apart and if their opinion is that much different, you could argue that it's just that good and that comparable to the real thing, so to speak. So, but it would be obviously great to have a kind of like an agreement or something, maybe just a little point that they agree on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what I'd like to know maybe is how do you feel has the topic been received by the delegates or by your groups? Has there been certain issues where you feel the topic has been too difficult or maybe a little bit too easy?
For our committee, sustainable agriculture isn't something that you generally don't go against, but I mean, there's a lot of points of agreement that we've found. Research into basic technologies that would improve, food yields and all that, and but the one source of contention, between the developed and developing countries has been the use of subsidies, and because large countries like the United States or France, they typically have well-protected, subsidized agriculture, and that's something that developing countries are very against. So, so now we're going on to the next topic: role of public and private partnerships in development aid. But they've been very general topics as opposed to, the Security Council where it's very focused on one thing. But, I mean, we've had kind of more broad resolutions, defined in bigger terms because of that.
Yeah.
Well, I feel that with North Korea being, the center of the crisis, it creates a pretty clear divide, and everyone knows what side they're on and what their views are. They're also receiving information from their government's top secret stuff that they're the only ones that see it. So their stance is pretty clear cut on it. I don't think it's been too difficult. It's just a matter of finding an agreement between both sides.
Has it been difficult for you to just be impartial and be objective? Since I think you might have an opinion too. Like, how do you manage to stay in between the delegates, and how do you manage to moderate the debate?
Well, our goal is to facilitate the debate, to make sure that everyone speaks. So the whole goal is to make sure that everyone who wishes to participate is able to, and that all sides are able to.
But don't you sometimes wish you could just stand up and say, hey, that's just wrong, or that isn't right, or I have a totally different opinion than that? Do you feel the need to do that, or is it just your sense of duty to facilitate, as you said, the debate is much bigger than that?
I mean, I'm so used to being a delegate, it's the first time I'm chairing,
Yeah.
so sometimes I wish I could contribute, but, obviously you have to be impartial, and, I've tend to pick on those who haven't really spoken before, and, I try to get even those who are kind of shy to talk out and, participate, and so, yeah, we hear from all sides, not just one, so.
So you've been a delegate before. Could you maybe elaborate on the skill sets and things that are really the differences between a delegate and a chair?
Oh yeah, well, with the delegate, you have to be really good at speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can't be shy. I mean, obviously some people are, but it really helps you break out of your shell, and gets you to talk to people, and you get some skills in debating. Obviously, you need to have a well-researched kind of position paper and everything. So typically, it worked well with my area of study, which was international politics. But as opposed to being a chair, it's more facilitating. You're kind of in the background. You never want to have the chair be the person up front and center, but we're just there to facilitate. But you need to have a good background on how MUN conferences go. So the skill sets are a bit different, but in the end, they're kind of similar because as a chair you need to be able to speak up and tell people what to do at times.
Yeah, I feel that it's fairly easy to remain unbiased when you're.
So you feel it's easier to be the chairperson?
Well, the whole point of the MUNs is you're really acting. So you have basically your set of lines, which would be, if you're a delegate, your country's policies and views of the situation, and then when you're a chair, you have your lines where you're making sure that everyone's following the rules. You have to be the person in charge of the room and make sure that the delegates know that.
So how do you show that? Do you have means of power? What instruments can you use to facilitate debate, or even control the delegates in some way?
Well, we have the ability to rule them out of order, and so we are able to control what is allowed and what isn't. Everything, for the most part, is left up to the discretion of the chair, and if they're continually wanting to have an unmoderated caucus, but they're not doing anything in it, we have the ability to say, no, you're going to do a moderated caucus, we're going to do the speakers list, we're there to facilitate the debate, but also, if it's not happening, to promote the debate, as opposed to just allowing it to happen, because if it's not happening, then we do have to step in and make sure that it happens, and that's our goal as a chair, is to it's not just to facilitate, but also to make sure that it happens.
Of course. And so to conclude this great debate, thank you both again, I would just like, maybe you could just for our viewers state, what can we expect in the next days? Do we have something, should we prepare for? Is there something a major thing happening that you're expecting, why should we especially watch the Security Council and ECOFIN?
I think what's really interesting about our committee right now is that we've had a couple people change from countries to private and NGOs. So you have Monsanto now in our committee, so that should be really interesting considering the policies that Monsanto's promoted in a lot of developing countries and whatnot. And I think that's pretty unique. You don't really get to see that in an ME1 conference, so I think that's pretty interesting, and I look forward to seeing how the debate plays out and when we introduce these private actors into it. So yeah.
Great. And the Security Council?
Well, with the crisis developing, the Security Council at this point is fairly unpredictable, as we don't know what's going to happen. So
which would be the excitement about it, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Thank you very much, gentlemen.